Hello everyone, Abby here with Scrapping Abby, and I have a tutorial video for all of you ladies and gents today. So I will not be able to actually publish this on my channel until the recipient of this banner receives it, because I want her to see it first, of course. So, but I wanted to document kind of what I made for her. One of the things I've made for her, there's actually quite a few things, but I'm just going to be focusing on the banner in this particular video. So these are some projects I've been working on for my friend Michelle Scott. Gosh, we met in January, and I think it was late January, early February, I started collecting, gathering all kinds of vintage Shabby Chic goodies and things like that. But I've also been making some different things for her too. So I wanted to kind of share this. And I'm getting over my sinus and double ear infection, so I still sound a little bit nasally, so I apologize for that. But I just wanted to kind of explain what this video is going to be about. Now, I'm trying to remember exactly what I did on each of these panels, because I had gone to, like I said, I started these quite a while ago, and I work on them as I can. And I had gone home to Oregon for a month, and then I went to Cancun with my husband and a group of people from his work. And so now that I'm home, and I'm probably this sick like this because of all the traveling and things I've been doing, and I'm trying to remember exactly how I did everything. I have everything pulled together. I had all the supplies together, which I'm happy I did that, so I can remember which sprays and things like that. So I did all of these panels at the same time, and then I purposely left one blank with all the different embellishments and bits and pieces that I used on these, so I could do this part as the tutorial on this video. So this is a Shabby Chic banner I made for Michelle. These kinds of projects are always difficult for me to film because of the length and the size of them, but I think this turned out really pretty. So we're going to be working on the M, but I have the rest of the name done, and I'll just kind of show you the panels up close so you can kind of get a peek at what I'm going to be doing. There's lots of layers here, some textures, not only with materials, meaning like the different papers and canvas pieces and such, but by the different layers of texture with the different spray. I almost said paints and sprays and called them spraints. Oh my word. Maybe I just made up a new word for myself. So I used a bunch of different sprays and some paint and just different embellishments and things to kind of make it look shabby like that, and I love how it looks. To have the back side, this is a double-sided paper. I'll show you the cardstock I'm using, which I got from Hobby Lobby, and it's one of my favorites. I always grab a pretty good size stack when I go in there. It's from My Mind's Eye, The Lost and Found, and this is Jen Allison's collection, and this is the back side. See, this is what the front of the banner looks like. Now, you might be thinking, well, gosh, I can barely see that floral pattern, but you can see it when you look at it kind of close up, and that's just all part of the layering process. So this is what it looks like, and I have it tied together with just some stretchy lace material I purchased from Walmart. I think it was off the bolt. It wasn't very expensive. Be a couple bucks a yard, I can't remember exactly. So I didn't measure this unless I'm making a dimensional project, or I'm making like a batch of like invitations, or something like that as a commission piece. And of course I will get exact measurements so I can give price it accordingly and order the right supplies and everything. But when I'm working on stuff like this, that's just kind of, I don't know if you want to call it free form crafting or whatever. I don't measure things. I just eyeball it and just decide what I like. So I didn't take the time to cut this exactly even on each side. I just kind of eyeballed it, and that's kind of what I do. So what I did do is I did one of the letters, and I'll explain that in the next segment, but I just kind of want to have a little bit of an intro to this video. So I'm going to go ahead and clear off my table, get my spray mats and everything out, and then all these supplies, and we're going to work on creating the last panel for this banner. So I will see you in just a little bit. Okay, so I have my work surface all protected and all my papers laid out. My glue gun is on and ready to go, because I'm going to be using that as far as, kind of putting all the different pieces and things together. And I want to share with you really quickly the supplies I'm going to be using, and then we're going to jump right into this so I can get this project done because I need to pack it and get it mailed off to her. so this is some texture paste I use. This is from Prima. It's part of the Finnabair line. It's the white crackle. I do have it in the platinum, but I wanted to stick with just the white crackle. I bought this from Amazon. I love it, and that what you see here on the label, that is exactly what it looks like when you use it, and I'll show that to you in a moment. Some of the different paints, these are some Waverly chalk paints just from Walmart. I just got the smaller bottles just to try out some of the colors, see if I really liked them. I have it in, let's see, cashew, ivory, and ballet slipper, so I have using a combination of those. This is one of the wire brush sets that you can get from Dollar Tree. There's 3 in a pack. I do have a quick tips with Abby video showing you how I use this in my crafting. I will put a card up there for that and link down below as well. And then some of the different sprays and things. Now this is actually from Plain Jane, which is under the umbrella of Canvas Core 7 Gypsies, but I put it in one of these because my clogger got all stopped up. So this is the semi-opaque matte in cardboard. You're going to be seeing that color. This is the Perfect Pearls in Perfect Pearl spray from Ranger. And then I have a couple different other ones. Plain Jane, which is the same company as Tattered Angels. This is the Matte Mist Watercolor. And this one I got at not TJ Maxx, Tuesday morning, excuse me. So it doesn't have the color on it because they covered up with their label. And then this one is the Glimmer Mist from Tattered Angels as well, and you can kind of see the color there. Very, very pretty. This is just some white craft paint. I mean, just the cheapest stuff I get from Walmart, Apple Barrel, and then this is just a bottle I got from either Walmart or Target. I can't remember, in the travel section. I have a ton of these, and I just add this, mix some water with it, and I have a couple different, you know, bottles of this where it's more concentrated, and another bottle where it's just not, it's more like a just kind of like a almost opaque kind of look or something. So I have those. And then I'm thinking about adding these to the banner panels when I'm done. These are just some really cute Shabby Chic kind of colors of some little seed beads. If I do that, I will of course share that. And then if I do, the adhesive I use is this matte from PPA. I love this stuff. It dries crystal clear. I love it, love it. I use it all the time. So there are the materials. As far as that, I mentioned I have my heat gun ready to go. So now I'm going to kind of share with you the different materials that's going to create the banner panel. Now, since it's been a couple weeks since I worked on this and did this part, I am going to be pulling this into frame where you're going to see it, just to make sure I'm doing the layers and processes right, because it's been a couple weeks since I did it, and I want to kind of make a, you know, look as close as to the other panels as I can. So for materials we're going to be using, this is the paper that I showed you in the first part of the video. I just eyeballed this. What I did as far as measuring, these are some canvas mixed media or mixed stitch banners I got. This is from Lenny Blooms, and Linda Bertha was the owner, but she's now since closed her shop. But I have a ton of this stuff. I was on her design team a couple years ago, and then I purchased quite a bit of her product when she had it marked down before she closed. So what it is that there's like little bits. Can you hear that? She puts like newspaper and book pages and all kinds of really fun things in there, and then it's got this, you know, mixed stitch on there, and it makes a really cool piece to create with. So these were this size, and I knew I wanted the letters to go on this panel here, like you can see right there. And then so I just kind of wanted to build out from there. So this is more of my guide, so to speak, and except, you know, I didn't make these exact measurements or anything. So this is that paper I shared with you, and I've already went through with my little distress tool from Tim Holtz, and I'll show it to you. So I get my carousel here. Now I have a couple different distress tools I use. I have a Prima, I have a Making Memories, and I have the Tim Holtz one. This is probably the one I reach for the most, and I just took this and just went on the edges, and I love how it looks. And I kind of went through with my finger too, and just kind of added, you know, some more indents and things just to kind of make it more of that Shabby Chic kind of look. Let me zoom in here. I didn't realize I was out so far still. There we go. And then, so this is the base layer, and what's going to go on next, I kind of put everything together so it was in layers. And this is just some material that I got from Walmart off the bolt, and here is what it looks like before I you know, distress it and everything. But I went ahead and just cut all these panels at the same time, and then I just took that tool that I showed you here and just went around and distressed the edges of that. So that's the next layer. And then after that, this is just some, excuse me, this like some, you know, cheapo lace that you can buy by the yard on a bolt at Walmart. And I have that cut here. And I'm going to actually be showing you how I use this. So I didn't distress this part or this one other top of the banner because I wanted to show you how I do that with this tool. So there's that piece here. And this is the next one. And then this is some book pages. I'm going to show you the book it's from. I love, love, love old books. I have a couple, actually I have quite a few videos on my channel with some different books that I've came across from one of my favorite sellers on Etsy. It's Red Cottage. So this is a Department of Agricultural book from 1908. The cover is purple. I don't know if it's picking up or not, but I just took out a few pages from this book. I love it. It's just awesome. And I put them in here. Or excuse me, I cut them down and I distressed the edges again with that same Tim Holtz tool. And then this is just some cheesecloth, and I did the same thing. You really don't have to distress the cheesecloth much once you cut it at the shape that you want to use it. It's really easy to, and it almost distresses itself, to be honest with you. Okay, so there's that. I don't want to lose that little piece right there. And then that's the layering, and then on top is going to be this, and all these other embellishments are going to be a part of that. Now, you might be saying, gosh, you know, you really can't see, you know, the actual base layer again, or you can't really see the different, you know, the print and stuff. It's all part of the layering process. I don't, when I create projects like this, I'm not trying to have every single layer be visible. It's just part of the building blocks for that canvas or, you know, the project I'm working on. So, you know, you hold this up close so you can look. I can see the paper. I can see, you know, here's that material kind of off the side. I can see the bits of that lace right there. You can definitely see the cheesecloth, and you know, you can see the paper like up here in the corner. So that's why I do that. It's not to have visibility for each element. They all come together to create this really, really cool project. So I have the little bits of this kind of organza I told you. I have that. This is just some fabric I picked up from Walmart. Again, really cheap stuff. I use these for my melted flowers and things like that. This is going to be shredded. This is what's on top right here. This little bit here, just kind of give it some texture. So I have that, and I'll show you how I use that, or what I use to do that. This is the chipboard letters. Now, I used that crackle medium I showed you on here, and I love this stuff. It's just so, so cool. So you don't have to let this, I can't remember if I talked about this in the intro or not, but you don't have to let these dry overnight once you use that medium. I happen to, because I did the letters at the end of my crafting for the day, but I have used this medium here on different items, and I've just taken my heat tool to it, and it's just fine. So there is a letter, and then I use one of the sprays on there to kind of get that really pretty shimmery look. So the letter is done. But everything else I'm going to do in this video. This is some really cool tool. I picked this up from Hobby Lobby, and it has like little, like, it looks like almost like little glue drops or like dewdrops or something. This stuff is really cool. I like it. So I want to kind of incorporate that as well. So this is going to be another layering component. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's like tulle and it's sheer, but it is there. And then I have, and I don't want to lose this, this is one of the little adhesive flat back pieces from Want to Scrap. That's going to go on one of the elements in here, and then I have the other elements inside here. This is like the fabric trims that you can get like on a, let me grab it here and show you what I'm trying to say. You can get it like on the strip like this. I just cut one of those apart and use that, and then this is just some beading I got from Amazon, and then this right here is from Hobby Lobby. I'll show you what that one looks like. This isn't the right color, but it's this kind of stuff. It's on a spool like that. And when they have their trims or their spools on sale for 50% off, that's when I go stock up. So I'm going to stick these smaller pieces back in the bag just so I don't lose them as I'm working. And then kind of put those pieces in there. And then that in there. All right. And we'll get this ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to put on some of my stuff here. Now, I don't really care if my fingers and stuff get stained from the project. I don't mind that, but I do like to put on this Art Guard from Winsor & Newton because it does help with kind of reducing the staining, because when I use this particular cardboard one, it's not a really fun or a really nice look when you have like a dark brown staining on your fingernails and things like that. So I'm just going to be using a little bit of that and just kind of putting this on my hands, and it kind of helps prevent having my fingernails and my nail beds getting stained in a dark brown. That's just not a nice look. So I'm just going to put that on real quick, and we will get started. So I'm just going to be kind of chatting with you as I'm working on this project. Hopefully I'm not... I don't want to make this too super long, but it's going to be real time, so it might be, so you can obviously skip forward if I'm taking too long on a certain part or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and set these things off to the side, because I'm not going to be using them next or first. So for the piece right here, this banner piece here, I'm going to go ahead and grab the different sprays that I used on it, and this one here, and this one from Ranger has a still BB in it. That way it kind of mixes up, so that's what you're hearing if you've never used this one before. Okay, let me get my paper. Where'd it go? Just one sec. Where did that paper go? I'll put my rings back on. I have, oh well, I have a piece of scratch paper that I use over here to kind of protect this part of my table because I do have a ceiling fan going. Oh, let's grab another piece of paper. Here we go. We'll just do that to kind of keep that from getting too much spray on the rest of my items on my table. Sorry about that. I meant to be a little bit more prepared, but there we go. So there's that. So this is the paper, and I'm just going to be layering these different sprays on here. This I usually use this last, kind of like the top coat, so to speak. And so there's no real rhyme or reason. I'm just going to be just doing some different spraying on here. Get these kind of shook up, and then I will get my heat tool out. So if it's only going to take a few minutes, I will go ahead and just, you know, kind of film myself using the heat tool, but we'll go from there. So I'm going to start with the darker of the two first and just basically spray this on. So I'm really excited for Michelle to get this from me. I have been working on this for quite some time, and I'm just really excited for her to get this. I'm hoping she's going to love it. You know, everything I've been making for her. Now I'm going to just grab a wet wipe here. Little baby wipe, I mean. I'm just going to kind of dab on here just a little bit just to kind of lift up some of the color, because I don't want this to be like a totally dark, but I do like this color. Now something else, while I'm doing this, I kept these down so I could show them to you when I came across this particular part of the project. These are just cheapo, you know, baby wipes, and I use these for this kind of project, and I'll clean up different sprays and paints and stuff. And I like to keep these because I can put these into my drop cloth kind of bucket I have in my craft room, and I can use these for different projects and stuff. So just kind of mention that to you just in case you've never done that before. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some of the lighter to it. Kind of get this going here. And I like to make sure I'm getting on the edges too, because that way the edges of this are going to be the pink and stuff. And so what I'm going to do now is just spray a tiny bit right here in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and take this and just kind of, you know, actually mix these together. That's what I did. And just kind of, you know, dab the sides of this, because the edges that are distressed, that way they're not going to be just the white. There's going to be like a mix of the different sprays. Now it's not a big deal if it's just all white. That's no problem at all, but I kind of wanted to add a little bit of color just like I did on the others. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe this up here. So if I wasn't using the wet wipe, then I would grab my book. Let me grab it here and show you. There it is. This is just a cheapo book from Walmart, or excuse me, Dollar Tree. And what I would do is I would take the book and bend it on my table, you know, and kind of dab it up that way. Because then I'm going to use this for an art journal once I get that book all the way filled up. So that's kind of my process. I'm going to go ahead and dry this. Now this is just a wooden cutting board that I picked up from Goodwill. I like to dry my stuff on things like that. I don't want it to go directly to my table. Now these mats from Tim Holtz, that's what they're for, but I also have like a vinyl cover or vinyl, you know, sheet on my craft table, and I don't want that to get hot and melt. So we'll just go ahead and dry this real quickly here, and then once this is dry, then I'm going to go ahead and use the Perfect Pearls on there. So let's do this real quick. I am just obsessed with this paper. I really, really like it a lot. So pretty. I might have to go back and get some more. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put on the Perfect Pearls part. Just kind of give it that nice, pretty shimmer. that. Okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to kind of pick some more of this up here. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and dry this. So this is going to probably take a couple minutes because it's pretty wet, so I'm going to come back on camera once I get this part dry. Okay, now that I got my table all covered with my different craft mats and everything, I wanted to kind of give you a rundown of the different items I'm going to be using to complete this last panel of the banner, which ironically is the first banner because it's going to be have the M on it. Excuse me, please. All right, so these scissors are going to come into play. These little you can get mine from Martha Stewart too, but this I just got off of Amazon, and by chance the handles were purple. And then this hole punch, and then this is a distress tool. Well, let me back up. I use this as a distress tool. This is one of 3 brushes that come in to the wire brush kit that you can purchase at the Dollar Tree. I have made a quick tips with Abby video how I use this. I'm going to be using it in this video too, but if you want to see the original video, I'll put a card up here and then link it down below as well. Some different craft paints, or excuse me, chalk paints that I'm going to be using. These are all from Walmart. This is small bottles. I've got Ivory, Cashew, and Ballet Slipper Pink, because Michelle's favorite color is pink. This is some cardboard. The name of the color is cardboard, but it's from Plain Jane baseboard. It's a semi-opaque, opaque matte mist. And this, if you don't know, Plain Jane is under 7 Gypsies. It's the same company. I have this Perfect Pearl from Ranger, and then the Simply Sheer Matte Mist Watercolor. I love this one. And then I have, this is just some white craft paint that I purchased from Walmart in a bottle like this. This is just one of those little travel bottles. You can find it at like Walmart, Targets, things like that. I just add some water and I make whatever consistency I want of that. And I'm kind of thinking about adding maybe some of these little seed beads on the whole banner, or like, well, not the whole banner, but like little parts of the banner. But I'm going to get this panel done first, and I'm going to kind of think about it as I'm working on it. If I do, you'll see me reaching out for this PPA mat. This stuff dries crystal clear, and I love it. Excuse me. And something else that's on the letter, which I already completed beforehand, because I just wanted to kind of get the letters done. This is some texture paste. It's the white crackle. This is from Prima, but it's the Finnabair line. This stuff is awesome. It's exactly how it looks, and I'll show you in just a moment. And then what I have here are the different layers. So I have them kind of in order. This is that paper, the cardstock I showed you, and I did not measure this to a specific size. Or any size. Excuse me, I can't even talk today. But what I did is these are some canvas mixed stitch pieces from Lenny Blooms. It's no longer in operation anymore, but I have quite a bit of this. I was on their design team a couple years ago, and then I bought a bunch when Linda, the owner, kind of like clearance everything out. So this is what I was starting with, and I knew I wanted the letter to go on this piece, and so what I did is I just kind of made the layers underneath this kind of a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. So that's what I was trying to say. And this is some of that sheer material, and you're going to be seeing this again. That's what it looks like in its original state. I got this from Walmart, super cheap, and I went ahead and used that wire brush and distressed the edges. I'm not sure if you can see that very well. And then the next layer after that is a vintage book page. I love using this in my projects, and I know Michelle loves book pages just as much as I do. So I just did that, and I took my Tim Holtz Distress tool. Let me show you which one I used. I have quite a few, but this is probably the one I reach for the most, just because it's small and it's pretty handy. So I used that. And I did that on the cardstock piece too. And then after that layer is going to come, oh, is this the right way? Oh, I gotta look at my paper, or my little cheat sheet here. Nope, this goes on top. Okay, so the next layer is the cheesecloth. And this stuff, if you use this a lot in your crafting, you're going to know that this stuff really distresses itself. All I did was cut the shape I needed, and just kind of took my finger on the edges, but it really did. Like this here, I didn't do that. I just did that, so it was pretty cool. And then after the, let's see, on top of that is going to be this piece here. Now this is just some cheapo, you know, material I got from Walmart, again, just off the bolt. I think it was like a couple bucks, I can't remember, a yard. And I got that. I'm going to be using the wire brush on this part, so you'll be able to see how I distress that. how easy it is to use. And then this canvas piece here. So that's basically the layer as far as the banner itself. The embellishments, I have 2 strips of this because this is what I'm going to be tying in between each banner panel. So I have 2 of those pre-cut, and kind of dump this out here. And then I have this white trim. This is just something I picked up from Hobby Lobby when their trims by the yard run sale. It's already cut to the right length. And then this is going to be hard to see. Let me grab the whole spool. This is some really cool organza I got from Hobby Lobby. I've never used this before, and I bought it when they had them on sale. I don't know, probably 3 months ago. Anyway, it's really cool. It's kind of got like little droplets on it. So I have a little bit of that. Again, it's hard to see. And then this is some material. This is more of that cheapo fabric that I got from Walmart. This was like $1, I don't know, maybe $2 or two. I almost said $2 a pound. I think it was like a couple dollars per yard. So nothing too super expensive to use. And I'm going to be using these scissors on that. I'll show you how you really easy to distress. This is just some pearl trim that I got off Amazon, just in a large spool, cut it to size. And then this is some of the trim you can get from Hobby Lobby. This spool is not the right color, but you can see what I'm talking about. It comes on a spool like that. Oops, and everything just fell over. And this is some of the trim. So whenever they have their you know, spools, laces and trims or whatever on sale 50% off, that's when I go and stock up on that kind of thing. This is from One to Scrap. This is just a flat back adhesive bit here. And then these are the same thing, but that one was in white and this one's like in a really pretty pink. And then I have this little flower I cut off, and this is from the you know, flowers you can buy the fabric, or you know, not fabric, excuse me, you know, the material flowers. I don't know what those are technically called, but anyway, hope you know what I'm talking about. And that one white pearl is going to go in the center of this one. And then this is the letter. Now I went ahead and did all the letters together, as I mentioned. I think I mentioned in the intro, I can't remember. I just took some white paint and kind of covered it up. Not that you're going to see the back, but that's just kind of what I do. And then I put that crackle medium on top, and you can kind of really see that crackling there. That is all from that crackling medium. It's just awesome. Now you don't have to let this dry overnight. I just happened to, because I did the letters when I was towards the end of my crafting for the day. I have used this and taken my heat tool to it, or set it off to the side and worked on other components, and then came back to this. You kind of play around with it and see what you prefer. I will tell you though that if you put your heat tool too close, or kind of concentrate on one area, will start to kind of bubble instead of doing that little crackling. So if you have time to let it air dry, that's probably what I would suggest. And then I just use some of that watercolor mist from Plain Jane I showed you on the top, and it looked it's really pretty. Oops, and it's got a really nice shimmer to it too, because that shimmery stuff from Seven Gypsies is really nice. Excuse me. Tattered Angels, which is with Seven Gypsies. So I'm going to go ahead and put these smaller bits in here so I don't lose them as I'm working on the banner. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. Now this is going to be a longer video, and if anybody's watching this and you don't prefer watching longer videos, or maybe you don't have time to watch a long video, feel free to go ahead and kind of fast forward to the parts that you want to watch. I won't know that you do, so it's okay with me. I know not everybody has a ton of time to sit here and watch videos and stuff, but I do, like I mentioned, I do like to kind of incorporate, you know, some longer with some shorter ones, just because I want to, you know, make sure I'm kind of having tutorial videos that all of you like to watch. So, and before I get started, this is, oops, let me grab it. Now, I normally don't care if my hands get stained from, you know, inks and sprays and paints, whatever, because that, to me, that's all part of the craftiness. But when I'm working with colors like cardboard, I don't particularly want to have my nail bed stained with this kind of dirty brown looking stuff. So that's why I use it for things like that. Now this is from Winsor & Newton. I got it pretty inexpensively off of Amazon. You can also purchase this at Michael's, and I think Hobby Lobby, and if you do, I would suggest using a coupon or something like that. So you just put this on just like hand lotion, no big deal. It's not like super greasy, or, you know, I can reach over and use my keyboard on my laptop, and I'm not going to get like a grease mark or anything like that. This is basically just to kind of keep my nail beds from getting that brown stain, is what I'm looking at. Now, if I took this and I sprayed this on my fingers and I wiped it off, there's going to be some on there, but it's not going to stain this as much. So just to kind of explain what I'm doing that for, in case you were interested. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to go and take these other layers and put them off to the side because we're not going to use them yet. And then we're going to start with this one. So what I'm going to be doing is just simply spraying this with the Matte Mist watercolor. And it's just a really nice, really kind of nice kind of blush pink. Now I showed this in the intro. I did not use this one on this project. I had it on my table from something else. So I apologize. This one's a little bit too dark for me to, in my opinion, to use on this particular project. So you won't be seeing me using that one. Really simple, super simple. Just kind of spraying this a little bit here and there, you know, kind of getting the color. I'm going to go ahead and grab this. Now this is just a cutting board that I picked up at Goodwill, and this is what I use to dry things on. I don't want, you can use your heat tool on these mats. It's not a problem to do that, but underneath my mats, this is a vinyl decorative tabletop piece, and I don't want that to get melted or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and heat tool this real quick off camera. Well, I'll do it here. So this part won't take too long to dry, so I'm going to do this real quick here. And then once this is dry, I'm going to go ahead and go back over with the Perfect Pearls, and then I will go ahead and move on to the next part. So just kind of creating a base, you know, layer on top of this really pretty paper. Now you might be asking, well, why are you doing that? Because you're not going to be able to see it. But like I said earlier, I think I mentioned in the intro, it's all part of the layering process for me. And, you know, this isn't meant where you can see every single layer full on. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like little sneaks and peeks of that when you look at the project up close. So, you know, whenever Michelle has this, and she can look at this real closely and see the cheesecloth and see the lacy bit and the paper book pages, and then up here you can see like a peek of the cardstock. So that's kind of what I'm going for, if that makes any sense. And I apologize for all my coughing and all that jazz. I'm just still kind of fighting that double ear infection and sinus infections, so I'm sorry for that if it's annoying. I will try to not do it as much if I can help it. So, but I wanted to share with you real quickly too. So I have this on there. I'm just going to set off to this side. Now I have a little bit of overspray down here. So if I'm working on paper flowers, you know, things like that, I'll grab those and kind of dip them in there. Excuse me. Or I will do one of two things. The first one is I have these little books that you can get from Walmart or Dollar Tree. This is Dollar Tree specifically. And I just take the book and I would go blop, 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 and pick up all the extra residue. And this creates a base layer for a future art journaling project or something. See, what you're seeing here, these are all sprays from something else. Purple, are you surprised? So that's one thing that I do. Or I'll take baby wipes. And this is enough from another project, and I have I kept these down so I can kind of show you too. So I will use these as art piece, like background pieces on different art journaling projects and things like that. So I don't want to waste the product, and I know a lot of you probably watching this video do the same exact things. I like to kind of explain it, I guess, in case there's somebody watching my video for the very first time, or watching a piece like this getting you know, that kind of thing. So I just kind of want to mention that as I'm kind of going along here. And then this is just about dry already. This is a really, really quick process, really quick way to kind of add some color to your project. So, all right, so there's that. And then I'll hold this up so you can get a peek-see at it. You can see the shimmer and stuff on there. So pretty. All right, so for the next one, oh, let me mention this. I'm gonna get too far ahead of myself. I already you know, drew some holes that match the template from the, I just kind of eyeballed where I wanted the holes to be on the banner, okay? And what I did is I just punched one, and then I put it over top like this way, took a pencil and just drew the circle. So that's what I'm going to be using the hole punch for. I just kind of wanted to mention that in case I forget to, but I'm going to be doing it on camera too, so this little corner's a little bit wet still. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and, with using my glue gun, which I have on and it's ready to go. Now you can use your liquid adhesives like your Beacon 3-in-1, which is actually my preferred glue or adhesive for wet glue. My favorite for like dry is a score tape. Love that stuff. But you can definitely use your glue gun on this too. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the next layering piece, which is that one there. And I'm just going to Make sure I got it lined up kind of where I want it to be a little bit, not too, you know, super precise. I want to see how that I made this a little bit bigger than the actual banner because you can kind of see that fringe sticking up. I like that. Just another way to add some texture and visual interest to it. So there's that. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here. It doesn't take very much because you're going to be adding so many different, you know, little bits to it. Pardon my reach. I'm going to grab this so I don't burn my fingers. And just be careful not to put any adhesive over where your holes are going to be when you go to punch this so you can put it together. Let's do a little bit on this side and we'll move on to the next layer. So I have to say I really enjoy making banners. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I have a couple that I made for my craft room. Well, more than a couple over the years, but recently, meaning since we've been in Florida, I've made some for my craft room here. So I got that on now, and you can see it's kind of laying over on both sides. I just love that. I like it. Just love it. Now we're going to go ahead and work on the book page, which is going to be next. So let me put this off to the side. And for this one here, I'm just going to simply be doing a combination. Let me grab this back. I'm going to be referring to this quite a bit as I'm doing this part of the video because, like I said, it's been a couple weeks since I did this. I want to make sure I'm doing this in the right order. I think my cheesecloth is next. Yeah, my cheesecloth is next. Excuse me, I had these in the wrong order. There we go. And then we're going to do, yeah, because it goes the cheesecloth and then it's the book page and the pink. Okay, that's what I did. There we go. Of course, you can make these each, you know, individual, like a different layering if you want to do that. But since I didn't do that on the other panels, I kind of want to make this one look the same if I can. Let me zoom in. Sorry about that. I didn't realize I forgot that I was still zoomed out so far. Alright, so now I'm just going to do the same thing again, just using my heat tool, and then that, just kind of gluing this down. Oops, I forgot to do the corner on that one. There we go. And then we're going to just do a little bit of glue. Again, just trying to be mindful of where your hole is, or where it's going to be, I should say. Now this is just some spatula I got from Dollar Tree. I saw somebody, I can't remember who it was, quite a while ago that did use this, and they used it to keep from getting themselves burnt or whatever. So that's where this came from. Or you can use like actual hot glue, you know, tools that come when you buy like a kit or something like that. But I find this works perfectly, and it was only $1. So there's that. So then we got the second layer on. So it's just really cool. You can kind of already see the awesome texture you're getting from the layers, from the cardstock, from the, you know, organza material, and then the cheesecloth. So now we're going to work on the book page. I get this stuff off to the side just so I don't get it all sprayed. Now for this one, I just use a combination of, let me just take a quick peek here. Yeah, I use the watercolor, and I think I used, yeah, some of the white. There we go. So again, this is just the white craft paint mixed with water. Super simple to do. And then the watercolor matte mist from Tattered. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of start with, I think we'll just start with the white. Like that. And if you really want more of a concentrated area like that, just hold it down and just spray again like that, and you're going to get a really concentrated piece. Now I'm going to be kind of distressing that point off of this, so it's not going to be such a sharp, but I will do that once I get all the way done. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my board again, and we're going to go ahead and give this a dry. Now if you don't have access to vintage books or old books, you know, you can always go to the Dollar Tree and go pick up a book out of their, you know, the aisle. At my Dollar Trees, that I've always found that the books are in the same aisle as the craft stuff, but it could be anywhere. You know, not all Dollar Trees are laid out the same, so I've come to find that out. Now, I don't use my books that are like, you know, that have like any value to them, or, you know, a lot of these, the books I buy, I get them because I like how they look or the cover. So I just kind of, I have quite a good supply of these kind of books and stuff because I like them so much. But, you know, just use your own judgment. I don't want you to go and use an expensive book or, you know, something like that. I know I have some teenagers that watch my channel too, so don't go get your parents' books out without getting permission. I don't want you to get in trouble. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this wipe again just to kind of clean up this part. You don't have to, of course, because this is, you know, if you get some of the paint and sprays on that, it doesn't matter. It's just going to be, you know, this side isn't going to be showing, so it doesn't matter. And I'm going to go ahead and use the watercolor. I think I'm going to go back in again a little bit with the white once I'm done because it's not quite as white as I was, as the other one. So I'm just kind of do that. Now come back here and do this again. Sorry, this stuff's on my I have this really cool, it was like a 70s hook like you put on the wall to put like your keys and stuff on. I got it at Goodwill years ago, and I painted it, and it has like metal hooks on it and stuff, and I made it all kind of lavender shabby. And I hang off my heat tools. I have 2 of them, and then my a little sewing kit thing I keep on there. But it's on the wrong side of the table because I'm right-handed. But when I put it on this table on the right, this table was, I had 2 farm tables. One was like this and one was like this. So I sat here and worked, and then I reached over, and my hook is, with my heat tools, is like right here. Now it's over here, so I have to kind of reach over myself. Why I'm telling you this, I don't know. But I am. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of pick this up too. Get that done. And I do want to go ahead and, actually, I don't want to do that yet. So you kind of got a little bit of colors right there. You can see it's a little white and stuff. But I want to add just a little bit more white on the edge, because that's really where you kind of see these, is more so on the edge of everything. And then I'm going to go ahead and do some more of the pink again. So it's always, you know, it's always like playing around, just creative play. You know, not every single banner it's going to look the same. Whenever I was doing the other banners with the pages, the book paper, none of them look the same. So that's the kind of fun and unique part about all of this. So I'm going to go pick this up while it's still. And I, of course, will be doing some videos how I'm going to be using all of my leftover pieces of things like this. So in case you're curious about that, let's let this dry this one real quick. So the name of the shop on Etsy, where I buy most of my old books, is Red Cottage. Michele, I don't remember her last name, but she's the owner of that. And if you search my YouTube channel, you'll find that I have 3 or 4 videos sharing with you all the different old books and vintage things that I've purchased from her. So, like old receipts and ledger paper and things like that. Now that's one avenue, just looking on Etsy, you know, eBay or whatever. But you can also go to, like, you know, thrift shops and garage sales and, you know, that kind of thing. And you can find these inexpensively. Or you can go to the Dollar Tree and buy a book, because nobody's going to see what the script says. So, you know, it doesn't have to always be authentic like that if you don't have access to that. Okay, so now that layer's done. So let's go ahead and get this one glued on. And we've got a couple more, and we're going to be ready to do the fun part, which is all the decorating. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I want this to go, like right about there. Perfect. Okay, I'll just kind of add some glue here. Get that down. So like I said, if you don't have a glue gun, you can use, you know, Beacon 3-in-1. You can use, you know, Eileen's tacky glue. You can use the Scotch glue. Now, I'm trying to use my glue gun more than I normally do, because I don't know. I mean, I have it and it's sitting here, and I've invested in getting, you know, the glue sticks. Well, not that they're expensive, but you know what I'm trying to say. So I'm just trying to use more of my tools than I normally do. And there's nothing wrong with reaching for your favorite things, because that's, you know, that's what you want to do. But I'm just trying to utilize more of the supplies and things that I have already in my room. So, but you definitely could use like score tape, or, you know, red line tape, or any kind of liquid adhesive. I don't know if a glue stick would work that well. I don't know, but just another suggestion. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and work on distressing this. I'm going to get my wood board back again, cutting board. Now I use this for that kind of stuff, or I have these, which is actually what I'm going to use. These are just some, they're meant for like brie cheese and stuff. I found these at Safeway years ago in the clearance section. It was a pack of 4. So I used, before I got this one, I used it for this, or if I'm spraying like small things, I don't want to dig this one out, I'll just do it on there. But I do my distressing when I'm using like a brush or sandpaper or something on this or this bigger one. But we'll go ahead and use the smaller one. Since that one's a little bit warm still, I don't want to bring up any of the paint and stuff and sprays that are on there. So real super simple. You just grab the brush and you just kind of just go crazy, just kind of comb it on the end. Now you want to be careful that you don't have your fingers right here because this hurts. I've done it before. It's a really stupid mistake. Just kind of keep your fingers back a little bit, but give a little, but kind of have some pressure so it doesn't go flying off your board. So again, I share this stuff just on the off chance there's somebody watching this video who's never done distressing like this before. So I'm not trying to imply that you ladies and gents watching don't know how to do this. And just kind of brush it like that. And you just keep doing it until you get the distress look that you're looking for. You can kind of see, hopefully that'll show up here. You can see how this looks all kind of distressed, like it's frazzled and, you know, frayed and everything. I love that. And this is what the original state was. Now if you don't like this look, you can definitely leave it, you know, in its original state. You do what you want. And you could always, like if you wanted to kind of make more of like a grunge look, like, you know, Tim Holtz's style, which I love that man. I'm a huge Tim Holtz girl, always have been. Or you want to do like some steampunky or something like that, you would just use, you know, different colors. Instead of using the kind of the lighter pastel-y shabby chic colors I'm using, you would just, you know, use your darker, like some greens and browns, even like a little bit of black, blues, things like that. Even some purples, like a deep amethyst or something that would look really cool with a steampunk look. Alright, so there's that. Make sure I got all the sides on like I wanted. Put this back. And now we're going to go ahead and put this on top. Just going to kind of get this lined up here. Sorry, let me zoom out just a tad bit because I need this kind of close to me so I can see it, but I don't mean to not have the camera in view, so I apologize for that. Or the project in view, I mean. Again, just doing the same thing. If you hear any noises when I'm not talking, can you hear that? Bella is sleeping in my craft room on the floor and she snores. So that's what you hear. Or that's what it is if you can hear is what I meant to say. Okay, I'm just going to kind of do this business. Put a little bit on the end so it doesn't want to come up. Flip to the side. Just do the same thing. So, I mean, this is a really, actually a pretty simple project to do. It could even be faster. I do work faster when I'm just watching videos and stuff, but I don't know why. It is kind of maybe the momentum of talking, I don't know. But I don't want to go super fast on this because the point of this is to show you how I'm putting it together. So, and you know, there are a gazillion videos that show you how to do banners and stuff out there, but just to kind of have the Abby spin on it, so I wanted to put my tutorial out there too. So we got all that done, and then the next layer is going, or last layer, excuse me, is going to be this piece right here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab the sprays and stuff I'm going to use, and I'll show you what it looks like completed. You can kind of see it right here, how it has like the white and the pink and, you know, splotches on it. So we're going to just kind of recreate that. And you can pick whichever side you want. These look pretty much the same on the front and the back. So let's see here. Let's get that out. And then we have the white. And then I think I used that. I can't remember exactly. So we're going to go ahead and do the pink again. Wish I knew what actual color this. Oh, light orchid. It says it right there. Oh my goodness. So it's a light orchid. No wonder I like it so much. It's like almost like a lavendery color too. So I'm not going to saturate it, but just kind of have some here and there, kind of a little bit darker here, that and kind of in the corners and just that kind of thing. Now I think I used the cardboard. I did. That's what I did. I used the cardboard on this one too. So let me get that out. And I'm just going to go ahead and add just a little bit of the cardboard. A little bit of this goes a long way, unless you're wanting like a really nice, deep, rich wood look to it. So I'm just going to kind of just do like real lightly. Oops, like that, okay? And if you get an area too dark, like say that's more than you wanted, just get your baby wipe and you can just you just press on it and it'll lighten it up a lot better. See, it comes onto the wipe and then it's a little bit lighter in that area. So, and that's about the extent of what I want to do for the cardboard, because I don't want this to be a super, you know, like kind of like a grunge or dark look to it, as I'm trying to say. So I'm going to go ahead and dry this real quick, and I'm going to turn the camera off in between dryings because since this is like a canvas material and it's thicker, it does take a little bit longer for it to dry, and I don't want you to have to sit here and watch me use my heat tool. So I will be right back. Okay, so I got that first layer dried, and the good thing about this is if you don't like how it looks in the front, you can flip it over. It's always going to see it, just to throw that out there too. But I want to kind of lighten this up just a little bit, so I'm going to take some of that white and just kind of spray it here where the brown areas were and that kind of thing. And it's going to give me that lighter look I'm looking for. So already you can see how this looks and compare it to the actual banner. Oh, let me get that strap up here. I don't want that to get in the paint. You can already kind of see how it looks similar to the ones I did earlier, so just to kind of show you that. So that's another great way that you can use the white paint to kind of lighten up areas that maybe you didn't mean to get quite so dark, or you know, things like that. Get the pink out again, or the light orchid, excuse me. I'll just kind of add that on against a little bit here. Okay, and I'll be back as soon as I get this one dry. Okay, so I got all that dry, and I wanted to share with you really quickly, again, just in case somebody doesn't know how to, or know this tip or whatever. So on the pieces that are already done, you can kind of see like little drops of white and stuff, and I really kind of want that to mimic that again, and I got just a little bit too much of that watercolor. You can see here how that one's so much brighter, or like more white. So I'm just going to kind of fix that by adding some more white to this. Actually, let me grab my excuse me. I'm gonna grab a wipe here, and this is sometimes what I run into when I, you know, start a project and save one part of it to show you on camera. I kind of forget how I did stuff. So, but it's all about the learning, and I wanted to show this on camera, so I'm correcting my mistake, or trying to as much as I can. So, not that it's a bad thing or anything, but I just kind of want it to kind of blend in a little bit more than what it is. And so, using the baby wipe really kind of helps with that. Let me kind of look at it over here and compare. Okay, that's much better. All right. So, if you, to get like those kind of like drops like you see up here and stuff, I'm going to show you how I do that, just in case you don't know how or haven't seen anybody else do it. There's a couple ways I do it. Grab my paintbrush. So I have a set of brushes that I keep off the side just for using sprays and that kind of stuff, just so I don't mess up my watercolor brushes and stuff. So you can either take it and do this with it, where you just grab your bottle and you just kind of don't do a whole spray. You see how that happened? It's just like a little bit of a spray, right? You're just like barely doing that. And if you're sometimes the dots don't go where I want them to. So what I'll do is I'll just grab my paintbrush here and take the cap off. You can either use this, if you don't have a paintbrush, you can daub it on, you know, like this if you want to make those little circles. See how it did that? Or you can take like your paintbrush if you want it. I want it like a little bit smaller one. And just to show you a few different ways you can do this, and you just kind of dab it on there, and you're going to get some of those white spots that you're looking for. So you can do whichever way you prefer. This is just wanted to show you a few different ways that I do. Oop, that was a big one. But that's okay. Put it on the bottom down there. Kind of like that. See, now it's not wanting to come out like I want it to. So we'll go back to the paintbrush here. We'll try this again, just on the corner. Just kind of, you know, add some of those dots. A little bit intentional, but random enough to where it doesn't look like that was my actual intention. So I'm going to go ahead and dry this, and I'll be back, and we're going to kind of continue on with the banner. Okay, I'm back. So let me kind of give an update. I don't like how this looks. I mean, I like it. I think it's really, you know, a really good foundation for a project, but not this project. So what I did is I went in, grabbed another pack of those mixed stitch banner pieces. But see, I hold this up here, and I don't like, it doesn't, all the pennant banners, all the pieces, they are really similar to this, and I don't like how this one looks too. It looks too choppy for me. So it doesn't look consistent. So So this is going to go back in the drawer, and I'll use this for a future project. What I did is I grabbed another one. But I wanted to share with you, I just remembered how I got the cardboard paint onto this. It wasn't quite so saturated. I sprayed it on my mat, and I just flipped this over. Oops, let me get that piece off there. I flipped this over, and I very purposefully kind of, you know, dot it in certain areas so I don't get such a dark concentration. And that's what I did on the other banner pieces. I don't know why I didn't remember that. Probably because I'm battling some infections, you know, sinus and ear infections, and I'm just not really thinking right. So that was my mistake, but I wanted to show you how I do this. So if you don't want like a concentrated spray like I had on this one, you can just kind of spray it on your mat or whatever and just kind of dab it and do that business with it, okay? So I wanted to share that with you too. And I'm kind of comparing it to the other ones, make sure I'm not getting too dark. Just get here in the corner a little bit, and then I'm going to leave it alone because I don't want this to be too brown. So for this particular project. So now what I'll do is I use my wipe again, or I can grab that book. I'm going to use the wipe since I kind of got that same kind of color palette going on here on this particular wipe. So I'm just going to kind of pick this up, and then I'm going to go and we're going to do just a little bit of the pink, or the, keeps wanting to call it a pink, but it's like a light orchid according to that bottle. And then we're going to just do a little bit of that, and then I'll do some of the white. So it's on the edges here a little bit like that, and I'm going to put some on my mat so I can kind of get some of the edges with that pink too, like the other ones. So again, I'm not trying to make these look like twins. I just want them to look like sisters, you know, like they are a little bit more cohesive than what I was doing so before. So we'll kind of do this with it, and that's just what you do. If you don't like how the piece is turning out, just flip it over, do the back side if you want, or just start over for something different if you don't have the same particular, you know, piece of the product in your stash. So, which is what I would have done if I didn't have any more of those, but I do. And I'm taking it off camera. I'm just kind of color checking it against the one I already did. So we still a tiny bit more spray, like half spray, and just kind of get a few more pieces here in that color, and I think we're going to call it good. So let's bring this back in, and then I'm going to dry this real quick, and I'll come back on and do the white part all over for you. So just one moment. Okay, let's try this again. So let's put that away and get the white. Oops, I almost took the top off. Kind of spray here a little bit like that, kind of doing those little dots that I was talking about earlier, just kind of letting it kind of drip on there. And I'm going to flip this over real quick. I'm going to try to capture those little drips if I can. Perfect. Perfect. This is just what I was looking for. So this is what happens to Abby when I have like a couple weeks between a project and I don't remember the exact steps I did. So, but I wanted to show you how I'm correcting that. So just in case it happens to you, which I'm sure it probably does, because not everything goes the way you want it to the first time, at least not for me. Well, more than not, I guess I was trying to say. So let me just kind of compare this to this one. All right, and I'm just gonna dip right there, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of let this air dry so I don't kind of absorb into those little white spots, and then I'll be back when this is ready and we'll continue on. Okay, so I'm back, and I just took a little bit longer break, which you won't know because in YouTube land it's just like that between the different clips and stuff I put together. But I stopped so I could get something to eat. So now I'm back. So the next thing we're going to do, actually the last thing for this little triangle piece, because this has been a struggle for me. I don't know why I had to start over on something different, another piece. I think what happened is that when I laid all the other pieces out, except for the one I saved for this video, I just went like that, and then like that again with the other stuff, and heat tooled it, and went again, and so was more cohesive looking, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm hoping that this matches enough to where Michelle's not like, wait a second, Abby did the M panel on a different day, didn't she? I don't know. Hope she can't. But I think I'm pretty close. Pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and add the last little bit to this, and that is using the ballet slipper pink. And I'm just going to, oops, that one's not open. Let's grab the other one that is already open. Let me get my paintbrush out again. And again, I apologize for the sniffling and stuff. You know, I really need to get this box put together and sent out to her. and I need to get it done. So let's put a little bit on the craft mat there. And again, this is the Ballet Pink in the Waverly chalk paint, because I know this is like one of Michelle's favorites. She loves pink. She's probably obsessed with pink as much as I am with purple, which I don't know if it's possible because I'm so addicted to it. I just can't hardly contain it, you know, especially when I see purple things. It's like, oh my gosh, I need it. Which will, you'll see that the video I'm going to mention here long before this, because I have to get this milled off, like I said, and packed and everything. But I went to the Dollar Tree to go get some packing because I needed some more bubble wrap for the package I'm mailing to Michelle. And what happens to Abby? Abby gets a cart instead of just getting a hand basket. That's my first mistake. And I go in there and there is just a ton of new stuff. So, of course, like I said, that video will be up way before this one. But, you know, there's a lot of purple and like storage and, you know, what I call craft and organization, that kind of thing. So, just kind of checking to make sure this looks pretty similar. When I did this originally on the other panels, I actually had the paint out and just went like that on it, but I don't want to, you know, get that out if I don't need to, just for this one little bit here. So, and what I'm doing is just kind of putting the paint on the edge, and you know, it's going to hang this way, but I'm kind of going against the grain, so to speak, because I want those pieces to stick out like that. I like that a lot. So, kind of like how my hair looks when I wake up. Actually, that's not really true, because that is one of the pluses of having such curly hair like I do. It's, you know, it's not really, you know, I don't get like bed head or bed hair, whatever they call it. All right, so I'm going to get my paintbrush rinsed off over there, and I'm going to take the heat tool to this real quick because I need to, you know, get this glued on to this panel here so we can start building the rest of the banner. So I will be back in just a second. Okay, so got that dry and went ahead and got my craft mats up and working on the self-healing mat now. So hope this looks a bit better. And on my craft mats, I know it kind of blends in when I'm working on darker things like that. Anyway, let me zoom out just a tiny bit. Okay, now what we're going to do is go ahead and glue this down to this panel here. I'm just going to get my glue gun. Oh, I put it on low when I stepped away to go eat something, so let me keep it on one there for a second, and then we'll, while in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and empty out, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. The little components, because we're going to start using these here pretty quick, so let me kind of get them dumped out onto my mat. Those little pieces there. Okay, so let's get these kind of lined up in, you know, so I can kind of see what I got going on here. So there's that. Now there's that piece. And this one here. Okay. Oh, I thought I lost it. There it is. I was like, no, where'd that little tiny one go? Because I already cut it out. Alright. Let me check and see if it's coming out a little bit better now. Yep, we're good to go. Alrighty, so just going to kind of eyeball where I want this to kind of be. Let me grab this here off the side real quick, because I do want these to kind of be in the same area, so it's, when you're looking at the banner in whole, it's, the letters aren't, you know, higher and lower. I like that look sometimes, but that's not what I'm going for on this particular project. So I'm just eyeballing here to make sure I'm close to where I am on the others. I think I need to go down just a tad. Yep, right there, be good. Okay. Just putting some hot glue here on the back side. Go in the corner over here. Add some. Okay. Now, if the glue, this isn't too hot for me through this because this canvas piece is, you know, it's got quite a few layers in between it. But if, you know, if it's too warm for you, or doing this isn't what you prefer, just go ahead and use your little tools like this, or the glue gun, or whatever spatula you have in your craft area. I'm just going to put some on the top here because I don't want this to peel off. got everything glued down. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so now we're just gonna move forward. And what I'm gonna do before I go any further actually is I'm going to get my hole punch here, and I'm going to punch those holes in here before I get too far ahead of myself. So I'm just gonna flip it over, and again, there are those little circles that I showed you I did. I'm just gonna kind of get all the layers in there. Now you of course can use your crocodile for this, which I have one, actually I have two, but the holes aren't the right width for me, or diameter I should say, so that's why I'm using just one of my hand punches. But you know, you do whatever you prefer and whatever's easier for you to do. So let me get that out of the way. All right, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and put on, I want to put top, I'm trying to see if I want to put the top on first, or did I do the panel first? Yeah, we'll just do the panel first. See, I tell you, not that there's a right or wrong way to do it. I'm just trying to remember exactly how I did it the first time. So, oh, I'm missing something. I just realized it. There's a little bit of lace I need to cut, and I didn't do that before. So I'm going to be right back. I'm going to look for it, cut it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. It's, like I said, I pre-cut everything. Except for this. I'm going to show you. I don't know what in the world I was thinking. Where did it go? I was laying everything out in order that I'm going to be using it, and the pink beading that I had in the little bag, it was way too short. I don't know what I was thinking. So I just grabbed this little bit that I have off the spool, and I'm going to use that, and then I'll snip it when I'm done. So how many times can I say so? Let me grab my little wood again, because I'm going to go ahead and distress this actually, I don't need the wood for that. I forgot I'm using my scissors on that. So these are some fringe scissors, and like I said, you can get, in the entry, you can get them from Martha Stewart's brand, or just some random brand off Amazon. And what I'm going to be doing is this little bit of fabric here. I'm going to simply just be taking this, and it's so cool because these actually distress it for you. I love it. I just kind of was playing around, and I thought, well, let me see if these will kind of give me the look I'm looking for, or shooting for with this. So I'm just going to take it, and you just stick it in there, and you just kind of cut like that, and it just, that is so cool. Now, if you aren't wanting this shredded of a look, then of course you would probably just, you know, use regular scissors and cut individual. But I want this to be all shabby. Now I'm putting this down in here as far as I can get it. You kind of measure over here. And these, again, are not going to be exact because it's just the nature of using this kind of material with this type of a tool. So I'm just going to do one more. And I just like how it kind of gives it that really fun kind of shabby chic-y fringe that I'm going for here. So, all right. I love that. Ooh, it's so, so cute. Okay, so I kind of laid everything out in order since I'm trying to remember what I did a couple weeks ago. And not that there's a particular order, I suppose, but I got my glue gun all ready to go, and first thing we're gonna do is put down that little bit of lace. And let me just kind of match this up, make sure I have this in the right spot. And I think I do. Yep, perfect. Okay, so I'm just gonna, and there's no front or back to this particular lace, by the way. This is from Monami Gabby. I got this during one of the conventions. Marina had, at the end of the day, I think all the vendors do this, but at the last day of the convention, they will mark down a ton of their stuff like super, super cheap, and they have like grab bags and that kind of stuff, and I got probably 15 yards of that. I mean, it was like 5 years ago, and I still have some, even after sharing with my friend Cindy. So really, really, that's where I got that. And let's see here. Next thing is going to be the pink little fringe. I'll show this tip close just in case you didn't see it very good. Isn't that just awesome? I love this. I need to find this kind of material in lavender or lilac. I mean, purple would be great too, but my favorite hues of purple are lavender and lilac-y kind of things. So if anybody knows where you can buy this, by the yard or whatever, let me know, or online somewhere, like in a lavender or lilac. I would love to pick some of that up because this is really, really pretty. And I like to make some fringe like this, and also some melted fabric flowers in this too. Is really, really pretty. So go ahead, let's see here. Oops, I have that swung. I got to put this down before I do the E. Okay, so that's what I did. I kind of made like a banner, kind of swinging like that a little bit. I'm just going to use a little bit of glue. Don't need a ton because I'm going to be putting a that little dot over at the adhesive flat back piece. I don't want to burn my finger, so I'm going to bring this in here and kind of tap it like that. And this will be secure because the M is going to go on that. So you don't, if you're worried about that not being as secure, you can go ahead and put a dot of glue along the top if you want. It's up to you. You do what you like. So it's going to do that. And then let's get the letter on here first so I can kind of get it even. I'm going to look at my other panels, make sure I have the letter in the general same location. Okay, and there's that. Alright, so I'm just going to grab some hot glue. Put that on the back side. Kind of get it on there. And then we're going to just put that down on to the piece of fringe here. Okay, just give it a quick press. Just want to, again, compare. Alright. Looks good. I'm going to go and get the bottom on because I'm afraid I'm going to lose that little piece. So let me, oops, I forgot. I need to kind of trim off the bottom a little bit because I want it to be a little bit more blunt of a point, not quite such a point there. I'm just going to simply take my scissors and kind of snip it to make sure I'm not too far from that one. Yeah, perfect. So just want a little bit more of a blunt look on that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this onto the bottom of the banner. It doesn't go on the very, very bottom. I want the blunt edge of that banner to show through, of course. Before it dries, let me check it. Yep. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put that adhesive piece in. And I'm going to grab my tweezer so I can get in there a little bit. Sorry if my hands might be in the way here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dot of hot glue in there. Yes, this has an adhesive back, but I want it to stay on there, not pop off, which I've had happen in the past before with other adhesive bits like that. So that's just again a personal preference. You can do what you like. You can use liquid glue or whatever, or none at all if you don't want it. Pull that off. We're going to stick that in there before that glue dries. Drop it in. There we go. Little press. And then I'm going to go ahead and work on the top part now. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay down this little bit of white here. And I'm going to be careful to not put it over top the hole because then I won't be able to get it through if I push it through the hole like that. So I'm actually going to do this upside down so I can see a little bit better. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a line of glue on this here. On the back side, just be careful you don't burn yourself because hot glue, of course, is hot. I've had a lot of burns over the years. Let me tell you, it's not fun. I almost feel like maybe my fingerprints are even missing because of some of the times I've had to, I've burnt myself using a glue gun. So this is a piece a little bit longer, and I did that on purpose because I just wanted to make sure it wasn't too short. So you could bunch it up. That'd be really super cute too. But I didn't have enough of this to do that on all those panels, so I had to kind of keep a little more flat. Waiting for another sale to go on Hobby Lobby so I can go buy some more. I could go get it now if I wanted. I just like the sale. I like, getting a deal. We all like that because then our crafting dollars go a lot farther. Okay. So last bit on. Sorry if you can't see very well. I'm just making sure I'm gluing it to the panel and not to my mat on my table, my craft table. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and snip this little bit off here. If I can get my fingers in the scissors the proper way, we'll do that. Okay. Oh, let me glue that little bit down here in the corner. Hold that there for a second. I mean, this is looking pretty cute so far, don't you think? I mean, it's not all the way done yet, but of course we're getting very close though. Very, very close to being done. Alright, and this will go into my little salvage bin that I have, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in case you're curious. I have more, not just the small of a one, but whenever I have like little snippets and little bits left from a project or something, I just toss it in here, and then, because this is convenient to have on my table or on my my little side table thing, and then I'll either leave it in that, or I'll put it in my bigger container I have and just kind of pick it, and kind of use those for future projects, or if I'm working on small things like tags or ATCs or things like that. Alright, so there's that bit. I'm actually going to need the scissors again. Let me keep them out. Now we're going to go ahead and do the pink across the top. Oh, Abby! I forgot about this piece because it was hidden. Ah! But I can still get it on there. Doggone. See, I I make mistakes all the time. It was so sheer I didn't see it. So what I'm going to do is I can get this to fit in here. Let's just do this. Let's just kind of do it underneath, I think. Maybe that's why I didn't glue that down yet, because I needed to have an alternative solution to getting this on there. So let me see, gather. These glue strings, I tell you, sometimes they're really bothersome. Oops, that's upside down. You want the dimension of those little bubbles to be on the top, or at least I do anyway. And we can just, yeah, we'll just do that. That's what we're going to do. Make it work, make it work. So flip this part up, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom down here so it'll stay put, and then we're going to put that down. But I want to make sure I'm gluing this. And what I'm doing is I'm tracing the back of the chipboard M, so that way the glue isn't poking through and you're not going to see it. And I'll just give this a press again, and we'll go from there. So actually, I need to retract what I said. There are no mistakes in crafting. They're just creative, additional or unexpected creative opportunities is what I would say about it. So there we go. All right, then I have this left nose, and yep, that's it. Then we're going to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and put a bead of glue, you know, in here, and I'm going to be putting this little strand right there. So that's kind of the plan. I don't want it to be a big thing of glue because I don't want the glue to show up pulling over top of the beads. That's just not a look I care for. But, you know, like with all of this, you ladies and gents do what you like and what you feel comfortable doing, because that's what it's about. Your creative interpretation, doing what you like, and what you know, kind of your taste or whatever. So get this up here. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm staying in frame so you can see. I mean, all I'm doing is just simply putting a thin bead of glue along here. If I get to come, I'm trying to squeeze it really gently, and I just go a little bit, and then I just take the strand and I just lay it right into that glue. And the cool thing too about this is that even if the glue does happen to come up around the beads, you're not going to really see it because you got this white trim right here to kind of cover it, so camouflage it a little bit, so to speak. And just put a little bit of glue here. I'm going to go ahead and finish off. I might put a bit more on the end of that one piece, and then we'll all cut it once I'm done. And then that's it. So really super simple. I mean, no technique or any application of this banner is like difficult or anything. It's just layering colors of sprays and materials, and you know, so just showing you how I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to cut that last little bead off here. Put you away for another project over there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put down this trim right here. Now, I have it on my other panels where it's kind of poking out a little bit, but you can still kind of see some of the, let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Where you can still kind of see some of the connecting pieces. And that's what I'm going to kind of mimic right here. So just going to make sure, I'm going to just again compare to the panel it's already done. So make sure I'm staying semi consistent with the way it looks. So let's see, if I put a little bit higher, I think is where it will look pretty much the same, or at least like a sister to this banner. So yeah, right there looks good. Okay, so I'm just going to be doing the same thing again, and then what you can do, where'd my thing go that I did use the other day, or 2 weeks ago I should say. Oh, I can't find where I had it, but I'm going to go ahead and just use, let me just use this paintbrush. This should work. I just kind of want to hold this over so I can see in here. I had a different thing I was using the other day and it was perfect. 2 weeks ago, Abby, not the other day. It's going to be too awkward. I'll just freehand it, I guess, a little bit. I'm just going to put the glue, pick that little piece up. And you, of course, could even do this part before you put the white trim on top. You do it whichever way you like. But this is kind of how my process is. And put that on there. Oops, almost lost my little pink things there. And then we're going to go ahead and put some glue. See what I mean? Because that keeps flopping down, but I had a better solution for it last time, so that's okay. And I was going to go ahead and put it on the back of this piece here. Just go a little bit and then go down onto the panel. Alright, we'll do this last little piece here. Maybe it's got 2 more things to put on it. Those little pink adhesive, flat back adhesive on there. And then we can string this and complete the project. So I'm happy about that because I need to get this box out and off to her. Like I said, I'm not even exaggerating, you guys. I have been collecting and working on other projects for her since late January, early February. It's just been something I've been slowly working on in between other projects and design team projects and things like that. And then, you know, I did go to Oregon for a month for the birth of our first grandbaby. So I wasn't crafting for about a month at least. And then the trip to Cancun and all that jazz. So, oops, that was a little bit crooked. Let me fix this. Did I go up too high on that part? No, let me just fix this one little end here. Just pull this up, and then we're just going to kind of make this piece go up just a little bit higher. I'm trying to get my fingernail in there so I can grab it. What nails I have left? My husband and I, we had booked a mani-pedi at the resort spa where we went on our trip to Cancun. He won this through work, in case you haven't watched my other videos about it. But anyway, and part of that was, you know, he got an award for recognition at work because he just did an amazing job, you know, in his position for his company last year. And they, you know, I'll talk more about that in the other videos, which they'll be up by now because I'm going to be I did some like little vloggy bits and stuff from that trip. But anyway, part of that was, you know, we kind of got to pick what activities we wanted to do and everything, and he and I went to get a manicure and a pedicure. Now he had just the pedicure, of course. Long way around that tree to tell you that I don't have fingernails hardly anymore because the gal had trimmed them off. There's a little bit of a language barrier, and it's not a big deal. I'm not upset, not at all. It just makes it a bit difficult for me to kind of do some of the projects on, or like, I use them as like a tool, I guess what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here again. Yes, this is an adhesive dot, but I just want to make sure it stays where I want it to stay. So I'd hate to have these popping off when Michelle goes to hang this in her craft room, so that would be embarrassing. She wouldn't care, I know. But you don't want your gifts to fall apart when you send them to people. Unless that's part of the project, or, you know, the item is to like come apart to like an explosion box or something. Alright, so I got that on there, and that's it, ladies and gents. As far as getting that panel done, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and I'll show you how I'm tying this onto the banner I've already started. So here it is, and really super simple to put together, and I just needed a minute to get over myself about the canvas piece. Moving forward in the future, I will either film that whole process and keep it as a separate clip, or I will just get them all done and just kind of talk you through, because I really want them to, you know, when you're doing it in one big motion like that, you're really kind of getting, each panel's different, but you get like a really good cohesive look, is what I'm trying to say. So let me zoom it just a tiny bit more. My desk is a total mess. I'm going to go ahead and bring out the rest of the banner, and I'll show you how I'm going to string it on. Now, I intentionally had it to where the M was the next piece that I was going to do on camera, so that way it was just easy to slip this on. But you can kind of see how I tie this to, you know, I put these little organza bits and tied them in between each one, just to kind of give another layer of being shabby. So just get this out of the way here, and then I'm going to poke this through. Let me get my little thing here that I like to use. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There we go. So I was careful not to glue over the holes. I mean, it's covered, but it'll go through because it's that, you know, the material's not too stiff. And then I'm going to go up this way, make sure I'm going the right direction. I'm just going to kind of ball this up like that so I can get it through this first hole. And I'm going to use this little, I think it's like a crochet hook or something. I don't know. I use it for, you know, I don't know how to crochet or knit or anything. I use those tools for something completely different. And then this is going to go over this way, over the top. I'm just going to kind of give it the kind of, you know, you can adjust the spacing because these aren't like glued on here. They're free forming, so, you know, it'll work. And then this is going to go through the other hole on the top here. You find it underneath the layer of fluff and goodness. Just kind of poke it. There we go. There, I can see it. And then we're going to poke it through this way. And then pull it out the back side. And then what I do is I just kind of tuck this lace bit underneath this trim because it moves. And I just kind of poke underneath there. And that again adds just another layer of texture to the project. So just kind of a fun way to add, add that extra oomph to your project, as well as it, sticking to, working as an element so you can hang it. So there we go. So I think these look pretty good. Sorry, I got caught up on a little bit of glue there. There we go. So I think this looks pretty good. I can visually tell that I did this one last because of the color, but I'm hoping that Michelle won't be able to notice, or if she does see it, she's not going to care. So, which I wouldn't if it was, if I got something like this from somebody else, I wouldn't care about that because, again, it just adds to the interest of the project. So I'm going to take one of these little bits here, just going to simply tie it, or I fold it in half, not like even or anything, and I'm just going to simply tie a knot, just a real, oops, let me start over here. There we go. And then we're just going to lay it underneath here. I got glue strings everywhere, and they're catching on everything, so let's tie this and we will be good. Poke it through. You can do a double knot if you want, you can do a little bow if you want. I just kind of was doing this with it. Now I wanted to show this to you, what I did. This, I'm not implying that people don't already know this, but I happened across this just as a happenstance type of thing. So I was taking my heat tool, and I was getting rid of all the glue strings and stuff. And when you put this on here, of course, because I make melted flowers, I mean, I know it does it, but I just thought it was a really cool kind of look. It kind of melts the end a little bit, and I like that. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try to show you as good as I can without burning myself. I'm just holding this really close, and see how it starts to curl down like that? It's just like using your lighter or a candle or flame in general to make your melted flowers and stuff. So I thought that was just kind of cool, because I wasn't going to do that on purpose, or else I would have done that before I started putting the banner together. But anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. I like that. Just be careful when you're using your heat tool like that, you don't burn your skin. And that is it, ladies. I have everything on there, and I hope Michelle likes it. I think it's really cute. Just kind of a fun little, Shabby Chic banner, and it says her name, Michele, and she only has one L in her name. So, but there it is. And I think it turned out pretty cute. I hope she's going to enjoy it, and I'm excited to get this box of goodies wrapped up and mailed off to her. Now I will be doing, I'll probably make maybe like a playlist or something, not specific to Michelle, but like projects that I've created that are going to go out as a rack or half mail or friend mail. That way I can kind of have a documentation of it, since they're going to leave my hands. And I always get pictures of everything before I send it off, whatever. But I think it looks really cute. I'm hoping she's going to like it. So you're going to see some other projects I've been working on. There's probably like 5 or 6 other things I've already gotten done. This was the last final piece. And I'm excited to get this off my craft table so I can get to some other projects that have been waiting. So as always, if you have any questions about anything that I did on this project, or if I went too quickly, or maybe it didn't make sense or whatever, just leave me a comment below and let me know. I have to tell you, I'm a bit rusty of doing full-on videos like this where I'm talking as I'm working, because I typically do either process or that kind of thing, because with my facial pain it's hard for me sometimes to always talk for an hour straight or whatever at one time like that. But so if there's anything I didn't go over thoroughly enough or didn't make sense or whatever, just comment below and let me know, and I'm happy to repeat whatever part of this on a different project, of course, or at least the technique of it if you want to see that. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Happy scrapping, happy planning, and happy crafting, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.